Sturgeon says Brexit is going to be a disaster. May says Brexit will be a huge success. Everyone else, including myself, says let's just get on with it. My name's Max and this is the EB Podcast. So the message from the Prime Minister today, she's going to be speaking about an hour's time, addressing the Commons on I think how Brexit is going, will be that we'll be able to prove the doomsayers wrong about Brexit. What she says, or she's expected to say in about an hour's time in Parliament, according to sources, and she will get back to recovering from that conference fiasco and all the things that happened there. But there are a lot of doomsayers, a lot of these doomsayers talking about Brexit. Nicola Sturgeon being one of them as the struggling leader of the SNP, certainly struggling after Ruth Davidson is leading the Conservative Party to winning a few seats over there. She also said Brexit is a developing disaster today. She then said the case for Scottish independence is growing day by day, but then counteracted herself and she said she wouldn't set a referendum date until after Brexit details are finalised. So she's obviously talking trash there, right? She's showing that she will be hesitant if we got a good deal with the EU. Her true colours coming through in that situation. Also, more doomsayers in the retail section. They say that Brexit will bring price hikes due to what I mentioned in a previous podcast, the fact that Brexit is going to bring higher wages. Higher wages means higher prices. Many would argue, though, this is what those who voted Brexit voted for. One of the actual truths of the Leave campaign was that wages are most likely going to be higher after Brexit. But there was some more news about that. The Conservatives, unlike many believed, are planning for a no-deal result. That many people are hoping won't happen with the EU, but I have to say is looking that way at the moment. That was the words of Dominic Raab MP, the Conservative Party. He's on TV quite a lot at the moment, talking about that. He said that we are going to be preparing for a no deal and are currently preparing for a no deal situation. So it's good to know that we have a backup plan, but we must push on with getting a deal with the EU if we can. So we've got some other news. Last night, Scotland failed to qualify for their first ever World Cup. I believe it's their first ever World Cup, or their first major tournament in about 8 years, I believe. They had a 2-2 draw with Lithuania, which meant that they were beaten to the second spot on goal difference by Slovakia. I hesitate to laugh about it, though, because England only managed a 1-0 win at home to Lithuania for their qualifying game, and we always overhype our players before crashing out in the quarters. And I don't think I have much faith in Gareth Southgate on changing that. Anyway, Trump is deciding, it seems, to put us back into nuclear tensions with North Korea again. So, on Twitter, because where else would the US president be at the moment, he said that the US has spent 25 years talking to North Korea. He said massive amounts of money have been paid. They're making a fool of US negotiators by breaking agreements before the ink is dry, and was dry. But now, I'm not an expert on the history of North Korea, but from what I've seen, Trump, who's not often right when he starts ranting on Twitter, is right here. From what I've seen, North Korea do not listen. Kim Jong-un doesn't care what sanctions you put on him. If he wants to test his missiles, he will. If he wants to keep building his nuclear arsenal up, he will. But Trump decided to finish with, sorry, but only one thing will work. Most likely meaning the sort of nuclear option of attacking North Korea, which I've said before, while it is warmongering, it's important that we either don't back down in talking tough to North Korea, or we start to make fun of them. For example, Trump calling him Rocket Man. Maybe that's a bit more of a childish way of doing it, but assuming we have our missile defense systems, we can start talking down to him, or just ignore him. You stand up to a bully, or just ignore him, as the saying goes. Okay, finally got a little bit of business news. IKEA is going live. They'll be expanding their operations online by allowing third-party sites to sell their products. Also, make sure to get rid of your old pound coins, because apart from Poundland, who will accept the coin until the 31st, all other banks and firms are no longer accepting the old £1 coin as legal tender from the 16th of October. They will be accepting the new pound coin. So that's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have more on general news as well as what the PM said today in Parliament. I'm Max, and thanks for watching the EB Podcast.